Good morning and welcome to my practice. I am Attorney Patrycja Karlin, and you can see my contact information on the screen. Today is going to be part 2 of our discussion on sexual abuse cases stemming from public school setting. And today we're going to cover 3 topics. Who is the most likely victim of such abuse? The statute of limitations, and then what is the best venue to file these cases in? So the most likely victims of that type of abusive treatment are special needs children, children suffering from autism, developmental illnesses. Second most likely victims are children from immigrant families. Not surprisingly here, because a child itself might be born in the United States, but his parents or her parents might be coming from a foreign country. And we're talking about various different countries. Could be countries in Africa, South America, even Europe. But we're talking here mostly about parents who speak little to no English and parents who don't know or are not as immersed in American culture as ordinary parents, American parents are. And as it comes to teenagers, we're talking about vulnerable teens suffering from low self-esteem. We're talking about teens suffering from depression. So these are the most likely victims of abuse in a school setting. Now, what is the statute of limitations? And that's a very important topic, because statute of limitations in 1994 was enacted, and that statute of limitation for children suffering from sexual abuse was until the child 2 years from the last event, and then that statute was told for 2 years until the young person turned 18 and then 20. So the statute was started kicking in at the age of 18, but it would toll for another 2 years. And that was for majority of the time. And then in 2003, the legislature passed a law that allowed the statute of limitations to linger for 10 years. So children suffering from that type of abuse had ample of time to file a case against their abuser, because a child doesn't always realize that they were abused. So we'll talk about, there's another component to it, but that statute in 2003 was extended to 10 years, and then in 2011 that statute was extended to 20 years. So people who are in their 30s can easily still file cases against their abusers, against their schools where they suffered the abuse. So as long as there is some sort of evidence that we can connect to that abuse, that statute of limitations allows the person to do that. It's 20-year statute of limitations. And if a person was covered under 10-year statute of limitations, and during that pendency of the 10-year statute of limitations, the law kicked in for 20 years, that person could be covered up to 30 years under the expanded statute of limitations. So the field is broad, and I don't want people who are listening to this video to think that their case is limited or that it's too late to file that case. So you would have to talk to me to see if your case is still viable, and every person will have slightly different scenarios. So don't get discouraged. Call my office, we'll discuss it. And that's the first issue I usually tackle. When did the case happen? How old were you? And then I have a broader understanding whether the person still has a viable case. And there's one more aspect to it, the knowledge aspect of it. Just because you know that the abuse happened, you might not realize how the abuse harmed you. So there is also the component of knowledge. When did the knowledge kicked in? Knowing that this abuse was actually an abuse and that abuse caused you harm. The realization of full extent of the harm doesn't need to happen. It's just you realize suddenly it clicks that the harm occurred, and that's why perhaps you're not functioning in your life and in society as you should. So very important aspect of these cases, the statute of limitations. And because these cases occurred in the public school setting, these cases are covered under Title IX, which is a federal law, which allows us, the attorneys, to file these cases in federal court. The cases can be filed either in state or federal court. The state claims can be attached to the federal claims, and it still allows us to file the case in federal court. And some lawyers prefer federal court to state court. But that's a preference that some lawyers have. Federal courts are a little bit more conservative in Illinois, as state courts are primarily liberal. So that's pretty much it on this topic in part 2. And I today want to make an announcement. If you know someone or are that someone who has recently graduated from high school and was awarded a high school diploma, but you do not know how to read and write, please reach out to my office. You might have a case against the Chicago Board of Education. So if anybody sees this video, hears this video, and knows someone, or maybe knows someone, please pass along this message to them. We're looking at people who are recent high school graduates, because this case will be limited to people who are under 20 years old. So recent high school graduates who graduated high school, who were awarded high school diploma, but do not know how to read and write, please call my office, 773-661-9106, and ask for me. Thank you so much. That's enough for today, and I will see you at my next video. Thank you.